Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Racing Today. Just me right now. Apparently, Mr. Charles is having some issues getting connected. I do have his picks, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. Hopefully, he joins us shortly. But if he doesn't, in the meantime, again, today, a little bit sunny day down at Sunland Park. Hopefully, part of the country that's going to be warm and sunny, not just overwhelmed with snow like we're about to get blasted here in Chicago, followed up by subarctic temperatures. Hopefully where you are, it's not quite like that, but I think from what I read, you're going to be lucky if you escape that. Maybe Miami might be the only place. Excuse me for 1 second there. Sorry about that. So Sunland Park, free link down in the description below. If you want to play the New Mexico track, you see shame on the Zucchintili, whatever. First time that horse is a best bet today at Sunland Park, 3:25 p.m. Eastern. We're here to talk about Gulfstream Park. So let's get cracking on Gulfstream Park. Let's see if how much of this I can handle on my own. Race number 1, 5.5 furlongs. This one is on the all-weather track. It's a maiden claiming 12,500 for fillies that are 3 years old at 5.5 furlongs. The profile of a winner at Gulfstream Park. This one favors early speed, as you can imagine. 60% of the horses do go wire to wire. Post positions 1, 2, and 3 get a little bit of a bonus. 4 through 7, a little bit of a penalty. 8 and out, they get penalized as well. We do 1,000 simulations around here, looking for horses that we can find some value. Our goal for the simulation odds is to find a horse whose simulations odds are lower than the post-time odds. And based upon our 1,000 simulations, we look to see which ones have the best chance to run a speed figure above par. For this level, you can see here Papa Chippy, 20% chance to run a speed figure, at least according to our simulations, above the average score of 74 for this class and condition at Gulfstream Park. Also, we want to see who's going to be on the lead. Look at this, taking it all, 1,000 simulations as well. 62% chance to get the lead. He's going to get a little bit of company, though, from the horses to its outside. And then C-Zone. Now, a lot of these horses really haven't run a lot, but based upon our projected pace, which horses are likely to get a pace or fractions that mirror their best performances. And just looking at this Papa Chippy, a little bit of an overlay there, strong chance to go par plus, and a lot of good numbers there. Unfortunately, neither Charles or I have it in our picks. Also like to take a look at what's called pace handicapping. E are pilots, EPs can be pilots or co-pilots. Ps are co-pilots. PCs are, they're able to be anywhere on the airplane. They are I also want to call them stewardesses. I know they're flight attendants nowadays. Closers, NCs haven't been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. And then, of course, your first-time starters. Looking at this race, fairly balanced in here. Early on, where speed does matter, we do see that 9 horse again showing out as one of the faster horses, along with the 10, Papa Chippy. Late speed, if they go too fast, you have Queen Honesty and Party Shaker. They're considerably quicker at the end than everybody else, about 2 lengths faster. And they really won't be all that far off the pace here. Looks like those two, from a total pace standpoint, they're a little bit better, a lot better, actually, than the rest of the field. So if you're a total pace player in this maiden claiming opener, the 7 and the 8 make a lot of sense. And that's exactly where I'm going with the 7 and the 8. I'm starting with the 8 horse as my top selection in the opener. Party Shaker does have some early speed, and like most of these horses that are turning 3 years old, catching first-time Lasix today. But I learned that those horses that have early speed tend to benefit the most from that first-time Lasix. Very consistent performer as well. 7 horses next up on my list. Queen Honesty going to drop in class. Another that's fairly consistent and has a chance to be better in the second start after a layoff. Number 3, Jazzin. She can run back to her debut. This race honestly wouldn't be close. And then finally, for me, the 6 horse, Broken Banker, third up. Those classic third start after a layoff. On a class drop, trio of workouts since its last race. And as I've mentioned before, I'm chronicling a lot of all of the post-race stuff in Excel. And I'm finding that class drop with workouts in between, it's been a highly effective winning angle, and that might prove to be the case in race number 1 as well. Charles has the 6, 7, 8, and the 13, but the 13 scratch. So the 6, 7, 8 are in his picks. He's going to do a pick 3 in there. I have a trifecta, 3, 7, 8. over to 7, 8, over to 3, 6, 7, 8, and 10 for race number 1. And it says we have 2 minutes to post to race number 2. It sounds like Charles has finally joined us there. Charles, how are you, my friend?
All right. Well, I don't know what the heck happened, so everything froze.
Well, here we are. We just made it through race number 1. So why don't you? We have a couple of minutes before it. So why don't you share with everybody your reasons behind the 6, 7, 8? And by the way, the 13 is scratched.
13 scratch. Okay. The 6, it drops in class today. Third start after a layoff. Trainer gets 14% with that angle, and the trainer gets 43% when he drops them down 2 levels or more. So, and then when you throw IRAD on top of that, pretty good chances there. The 7 is my second choice. Second start after a layoff. Trainer gets 10% with that angle. This horse does have some of that tactical speed. Probably most likely be chasing that 9. When it comes to the 8 is my third choice. Another one that drops in class today. Trainer gets 28% when he drops them down 2 levels himself. The speed ratings on this horse has been improving every time. And now my next choice would be the 3, would be my final choice. But that's all I have for this race.
All right. So they're still kind of mulling about, as they do at Gulfstream Park before the races. Let's see how they work in their way towards the gates. It looks like they are. Just quick note, tomorrow, not quite sure what time yet, but Tom and I will be doing Flemington down in Australia for our Foreign Friday affair. So a little bit of late night racing, not quite the insomnia racing that you get when you do Hong Kong, but it's that pre-party racing, I guess, if you're young and you're going out at midnight. So check that out. The best way to know when we'll go live is to follow us on all of our social sites. You see them streaming down below. Horse Race the number 2 day. Horse Race the number 2 day. If you like what you see, kindly subscribe to any of our or all of our social sites. And while you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the like, and kindly share our content with your friends who like to make a little bit of money, or at least like to play the ponies. I mean, sometimes we make money, sometimes we don't, right? It's the nature of the beast.
That's the way it is, huh?
It's just the way it is. Some things will never change.
Some things.
All right, I'm doing my. What's that guy's name from England? The guy who does like America's Got Talent or whatever.
Oh, Simon.
Yeah, if Simon, you're watching, sign me up, baby. You can DM me directly at HRT Rich. If you haven't followed me yet over there, please do so over on Twitter. I'm going to start adding a lot more information to Twitter. Some of the observations that I have from the data that we're collecting from all of the information that we're putting up. I expect that on Monday, I'm going to have something else to add to our list of things to look at. Basically, I've created a sheet that looks for horses that showed any internal race improvement last time that might be hidden in the past performances, or not so, kind of subtle and not so easy to find. All right, so race number 1, they're finally loading into the gates for race number 1 at Gulfstream Park. As it stands right now, Mr. Charles, the 8 horse is the favorite, Party Shaker. It is 9-5, so a little bit undervalued or overvalued, but not by much. Next up on the board is the 6 horse, Charles, at 4-1, which is Broken Banker. After Broken Banker, we're looking at the 11 horse, Crown Jack, one neither of us has as the third choice in there. And then the 7 horse at 9-1 is next on that list. And after that, everybody else is double digits, Charles. So it looks like a wide open first race, especially if that 8 horse can't collect the W. He's right now the 8-5 favorite, and taking a little bit more late money. What I like here so far, it doesn't look like the 7 really is interested in racing today, though.
No.
He's got to inch his way into the gate, right? He's like, yeah, okay, fine.
She just doesn't want to go in.
No, she says, I'm not so sure today. It's my day off. So I'm going to take the jockey off and try to load it without the jockey.
So anything to delay this a little bit more longer.
Yeah, it's funny down there at Gulfstream Park how it's always slow. I wonder why that is. I mean, I really do wonder why. I want to say thank you to Beverly Taylor and Jeff Bresky. Sorry if I get any of that wrong. My eyes are really bad. And letters bleed into each other. If you, like them, agree that the show is fun to watch, or you like the content that we provide, thumbs up help us with the algorithms, as do comments. If you have any questions, any picks that you want to share, any thoughts that you have, any questions that you have for Charles, who's a bloodstock agent, been a trainer, he's cleaned stalls. Is there anything with horses you haven't done, Charles?
Actually, honestly, I'm trying to think.
Well, I mean, we all know.
You know what? I did it.
If you destruct that sentence there a little bit. Actually,
let me
honestly,
put it this way. I attempted to put a shoe on once before, but my back would not allow it. So I could not officially finish that job. So.
All right. But I like that sentence there. Honestly, I'm trying to think.
Hey, that's me. I'm always trying to think.
I have to try in order to think. All right. So I think right now we're just waiting for 2 horses, maybe 3. You got the 6 horse, it looks like it's running around out there, the 12 and the 11. Everybody else looks like they're in and settled. Nobody is acting up right now, thankfully. So if you have any money on any horse, you're not worried about it acting up, rushing quickly to the post, to the computer to cancel a bet. The 8 horse continues to be your favorite at 8-5. Pretty wide open after that, folks. The 6 horse next up at 4-1 as the second choice. And I think we're just waiting for the 12. She Loves to Move. And then the Madagascar horse, once it's in, that's it. And they're finally off and running in the opener. And a whole lot of horses trying to find their way to the front, Charles. I think you're about 9 wide early on there. And
that's a lot.
Yeah, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 horses trying to compete for the lead early on. I know speed does win. I suspect you're going to find that the fractions are pretty hot. The one horse neither one of us has, the 11 horse, that 10 horse in there too, are overlay there with that strong opportunity there. That 9 horse, the one that we thought would be on the lead, is actually up on the lead right now. They go through 22 and 4, so probably a little bit on the quick side for this level. Looks like the 11 horse is trending pretty nicely right now. You have, who's that on the outside right there? Looks like the 8 horse is looming pretty good too. Down the stretch they come. I think the 8 horse is going to have the most momentum. But here comes that 7 that was reluctant to load, Charles. That one might pop off there. Yeah, but I'm not going to get the trifecta here because I don't have I need somebody to get up there late to pass that 4. Come on, it ain't going to happen. It's going to go 8, 7, 4, 6. 8, 7, 4, 6.
Of course,
I wish I had the 4 in there as my third pick, Charles, but should have just played the exacta, right? 8, 7.
Yeah.
And that was one of those cases where actually the 8 horse, its odds actually went the other way at post time. It became 5-2 instead of 9-5. And again, I'm finding when I'm looking, and one of the reasons why I'm really focusing a little bit more like upgrading horses that rank high in the total pace. So when I'm going through those notes, those total pace horses are performing exceptionally well. If they're in the top 3 or 4, they're right there all of the time. And you really look at the 4 horse, was really not all that far off either in the second wave of horses in there. So anyway, that marks that. Hopefully one of these days we're going to actually get all of this data available to everybody for every track, not just one. Hey, Barry, how are you? Need a big winner today, Uncle Charles and Cousin Rich. Well, I think there's a few horses today, Charles, that have a couple in here that I like a little bit.
Totally different outlook on today's card compared to yesterday's card. I flat out hated yesterday's card, and today I think it's a great card. And if you are on a little bit on the lucky side, you could probably cash out pretty good today.
So race number 2, Charles, that's what we're going to do. Tell us all about it.
Okay, well, it was supposed to be on the turf, mile 16th, but you know what? It's on my favorite course, the Tapeta, and it's going to mile 16th. Still, it's for optional claiming. 20,000 non-winners of 1, purse of 59,000. This is for state bred 4-year-olds which have never won a race other than maiden, claiming starter, or which have never won 2 races or claiming price of 20,000.
You know, and I think Florida racing's if you've ever driven through Ocala, oh my Lord, that place is just all horse farms, and like it's like the movie Dallas with what was the Ewings, J.R. Ewing, with those just big like giant gates to let you into the estate. Huge race farms there. But anyway, A mile and a 16th on the all-weather track. As you mentioned, it's off the turf. Charles, stalkers do good. 1 out of 8 or 12% managed to go wire to wire. There is an inside 3 penalty. 4 through 7, a little bit of a bonus. 8 and out, tiny penalty. So it looks like you want to be middle out. Looks like tactical speed is the way in race number 2, Charles. And aside from the 7 horse, it looks like everybody else might have, by default, tactical speed.
Yeah, the 7's got an 80% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. It probably most likely will, but I'm going to say watch out for the 2. The 2 does have that sneaky speed that's not really showing up much up. Simulation odds, the 2's right where it's supposed to be. They nailed it on that one. That's it.
Yeah, because the 1 had
there's no overlays. Yeah,
and it canceled out. So your par plus, you got the 2 and the 3 along with the 7 as horses that show a good shot. If you look at the 7 horse, Charles, I know he's a little bit. Maybe the odds don't match up there, but that strong chance to get to the lead with that high C zone, that combination is a winning combination many, many, many times. We do see that the 2 and the 7 want to be up on the front. The 9, a pressure horse, so a couple of pilots and a co-pilot. And then you have everybody else who wants to sit and coach and try to close their way towards the front of the plane at the finish line. Early on, the speed does belong to that 7 horse, about a half of a length quicker than the 2 horse. So if you can get out to that lead, that 7 horse might be able to stay out there at a price. Well, his red late pace suggests that he's going to have to find more stamina than he's had of late. Back chat. That one has the most late speed, along with Captain Anthony. They're about a length better than Cable Boss. First one of the front runners we see up there is Treasure King, along with the pressure horse Admiral's Wave. The Treasure King should be about 2 lengths in front of Admiral's Wave. Yeah, if all things go according to plan, no missteps, bad starts, that sort of stuff. And then your total pace horse, you have Treasure King right here, Charles, 8 points, about a length and a half clear of everybody else. And it's really kind of bunched up behind that one. So it looks like you single the 2 or you pass on the 2, Charles, and take everything else. What are you doing?
I like the 2 here. Yeah. I think it's got that scary speed that, hey, the 7 doesn't want to keep the lead, which most likely will not after the quarter pole. This horse could take over and finish it up or go wire to wire, whatever it wants to do. This horse drops in class. This horse on the synthetic is 4 for 8, so not too bad record. So I like the 2. And when it comes to my second choice, the 8 is my second choice here. Ran second last time. This one will be closing. Tyler's aboard, so give that horse a second look here. The 6 ran third the last 2 times. This horse has got some of that tactical speed to sit like third or fourth, make one big run. On the all-weather tracks, this horse is 8 for 14 in the money. And then the 3 is my final choice here. This horse, another one that has some tactical speed, should be sitting pretty close to the pack. Ran even last time. Trainer gets 26% when he rests them up 90-plus days. But I'm going to go with my top 3 picks in this race and a pick 4. And then top 3 in the second leg. I'm singling that third leg. And then the fourth leg, I'm going my top 4 picks.
So I kind of want to rewind real quick to race number 1, and then I'll get to my picks. So 8, 7, and 4. I'm reading in James Quinn's book about handicapping. There's some really good stuff in there. A lot of, I think, unnecessary reading. I did this, I did that stuff. Okay. I don't know about you, Charles, but when I read books, I understand that you have to give it some credibility. Like, I actually applied what I'm telling you I did, and this is what happened. But what's done is done. I just want to know the facts. I'm kind of like, okay, give me, what was that guy's name? I want to know the facts. Was that Columbo or whoever that was?
Yeah.
Real old TV in there. But in any case, in his book,
showing your age, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It shows here too. Like Steven Tyler says, all these lines in my face are getting clearer. The past is gone. But in any case, he had mentioned if you like a couple of key horses, and in that first race, right, the 7 and 8 on our pace really did stand out relative to everybody else. He says you take your 2 key horses, maybe if you like one of them, so you single the 8 at the top of the trifecta with the 7, 8, or the 7 and maybe a second one. But he said the key really is the all on that last leg of the trifecta. Just don't try to pick the last horse, because that's a lot of time where tickets get beat. It's exactly what happened to me today. But if you had put that 4 in there, if you had did or followed Mr. Quinn's advice, put together the 8-7, then 8-7-3, and then all, or the other way that I did it, that 50-cent trifecta paid $368. For a few bucks more, you get a lot more over the course of time, especially if 83-1 comes in third. All right, in race number 2, for me, my picks, I have the 2-horse 2 Charles as the top selection. Treasure King does have that total pace advantage over everybody else. And when you get close to 10 points, you have to keep an eye on that horse. A lot of early speed in here. Good works between races and is 1-2 out of 4 at the distance. The 3-horse Shankar has run well off the bench. 1-for-1 at Gulfstream. Was at the track and surface. The distance and surface, but today we'll go back to all weather. The 6-horse Backchat, going to be closing late, and at times this horse has exhibited stakes level late pace. And then finally, the 4-horse Captain Anthony, fairly consistent effort from race to race to race to race. Going to be closing too. The only thing is this horse needs to get off to a little bit better start. So they put a 3-furlong workout into this guy, hoping that you get off to a little quicker start and then be able to maximize those late legs. I think the 2 or the 3 wins this race, Charles, and then the 4 or the 7 in the next race, 2, 3, 4 in the third leg, and then that other race 5. You've got a bunch of first-time starters. Anything can happen.
That is probably the most wide-open race I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, quite a few horses indicating they have a shot in there.
Yes.
Let's see if that works out. Hello, Leo. How are you? Happy New Year to you as well. Hopefully you and your family had a fun-filled holiday season. Great food, great times, great laughs, and then get out the door. You ain't got to go home, but you spent enough time. You sure as hell got to get out of here. Right, Charles?
Yep.
All right. So race number 3 is what you and I are going to do next. Again, another fast one on the your favorite surface.
Oh, I love that Tapeta. Oh, so great. 5.5 furlongs, maiden claiming, 25,000. Purse is 32,000. This is just for 4-year-olds and upward.
And speed typically does pretty good there. 3 out of 5. So if you remember your, what is that, 4th grade, 5th grade math, 60%. Go wire to wire. A little bit of a bonus if you wear the 1, the 2, or the 3. A little bit of a penalty if you wear 4, 5, 6, or 7. Also a penalty as well, 8 and out. Probably could have shortened that up a little bit, Charles. So a little bit of inside speed in race number 3. And indeed, all of the fast ones are on the inside.
Yes, on this one we have the 4. Well, the 4 has got a 32% chance. The 2 has a 31% chance. And in my opinion, I really think it's going to be the 2. It's going to be out in front. But look out for the 1 also. The 1 does have an excellent shot, especially with the rail. So, yeah, you got about 3 horses that for sure going to gun it. Then when it comes to simulation odds, we have the 2. Look at that, 7-1 and 12-1 morning line. That's not a bad overlay. And who doesn't like whiskey and wine, especially together? And then we have 2-5 to 2-1 on the morning line on the 7.
Yeah, and then as far as our par plus, the only horse really scoring out on that is Don't Answer, the 7 horse. Plenty of horses. Well, really only the 1 horse in here. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Yeah, probably some words that, when they're put together, run for the hills, as Iron Maiden says. That one there, yeah, should be comfortable, but really none of them really getting above 50%, Charles. So could be a race that's a little bit uncomfortable for everybody involved. The 1, the 3, and the 4 so far, they have not been within 5 lengths of the leader. The 2, 5, and 7 at the finish line, 2, 5, and 7, they want to close. The only one that's been mildly forwardly placed is the 6. A lot of these races are won by horses on the lead. Whiskey and Wine about a length faster than Trust Me, I'm a Doctor. As far as your late pace is concerned, it does look like the 7 horse Don't Answer is about a length, maybe a length and a quarter quicker down the stretch than everybody else. So should have the most enthusiasm late. Really not all that far off the pace against this group, except for maybe Whiskey and Wine. Then your top total pace horse in here, Charles, is this 7 horse. 9 points clear again. If you get 10 points or clear or close to it, those horses usually run very well and very competitive. That horse should be one that's tough to beat, Charles, and you're going to take 2 cracks at beating it.
Yeah, the 1, This was my pickup line for my wife. Trust me, I'm a doctor, and she bought it. I don't understand, but I like this one. And why I do is because this horse is dropping in class today. You got a hot jockey the last 7 days. The trainer gets 21% going from a route to a sprint. And what I really think is the plus to this horse today on the way it's going to be ridden is Paco. So I really like this horse's chances. And then the 5 is my second choice. Ran even last time. This horse is bred for this. Got some tactical speed to keep up, stay real close to him. And then the 7 is my third choice. This is another one that drops in class today. This one's got tactical speed, but this one's got a better late kick than the others, I think. Cuts back in distance today, so look out. And then the 4, first time's Lasix. This horse drops in class. This horse ran even last time. IRAD's aboard, so I might wake this horse up a little bit.
Scary Creations loves whiskey and wine. Dropping from the Naira circuit over 12-1 morning line. Gotta like that. A little bit of an overlay. We see that too. Good shot to be up on the lead. Out of More Than Ready. Should be able to handle this synthetic. I have him in there at the back end of my trifecta too. Plus, I like the name whiskey and wine, but not together yet. That's a great combination. Sounds like a first date because guys like to drink whiskey and girls like to drink wine, right?
Yeah.
It's a little more hammered than the other. And then afterwards, they say, instead of trust me, I'm a doctor, let's play doctor.
Oh.
Ooh, getting a little bit racy today, Charles.
Well, like I said, that was my pickup line, and I thought that was bad enough as it was.
Yes, indeed. Well, number 7 for me, Don't Answer, does have that total pace advantage over everybody in the field. Class dropper as well. And then on the all-weather, we know it can handle it 6 times out, a couple seconds, couple thirds. It's got to make that O go today. A little bit of Frankie Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra, right? Been off for more than a year. This one is a maiden special weight dropper. And, they say you can gain about a point to a point and a half on your speed figure for every month that you're off, provided there's some improvement there in the horse heels and all that kind of good stuff. But any improvement, that typical improvement off of its debut would be more than enough to get the job done here. Charles's pickup line apparently works on somebody. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Paco rides, you mentioned that should be a pretty good ride. He did flash some early speed last time and drops in class today too. I like when a horse drops, shows early speed for the first time and then fades next time out. Should be a bit more, have more stamina late. And then Motown Pump, the 6 horse, did run the top last race. Speed figure, all of its race internals for the first half mile were improved. Again, Craig Milkowski from Timeform US said those opening 4 furlong numbers, when they improve, almost always a sign of a horse on the upswing. Trifecta 4-7. I think one of those 2 is going to win over the 1-4-7, over the 1-2, 4, 6, and 7. But whiskey and wine, could probably beat us, Charles. Both of us would be unhappy about that. We move on to race number 4 because even if there's 1 minute to post at Gulfstream Park, we really almost have all day. What's next?
Yeah, race number 4. We got a mile and 70 yards. Horse, Tapeta. Claiming price $8,000. Non-winners a 3 lifetime. Purse is $22,000. This is for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races.
And at the distance and the Tapeta surface, a mile and 70 yards. Surprisingly, early speed does pretty good. You want to be forwardly placed. Michael Jordan, 23% of the time they go wire to wire. There is no other 23. They probably should just retire that from all sports, Charles. Post position, you do get a little bit of a bonus if you ride the rail. The best place to be is posts 2 and 3. 4 through 7, they're discounted, a little bit under par, but not deal breakers. 8 and out, they just get obliterated. So a little bit of tactical speed on the inside. Charles could find its way into the winner's circle.
Yeah, that too. 69% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. Probably most likely, but I say watch out for that 4 at 12% chance. That might be pushing that horse along at least. When it comes to simulation odds, we have the 2. It's just slightly under 3-1. We have 6-1 morning line. And then we have the 5. 5 is 13-1 and 15-1 morning line. And that's about it.
Yeah, none of them so far showing the ability to get to the par level for this. So they'll have to do something today or they'll lower the average par ranking in there. Your C-Zone, that one horse, along with the It's a Birdie. So the 1 and the 5, those two showing the most likely comfort with the projected pace of today. And again, C-Zone's another one that's been showing up pretty regularly. When I look through the winners, is a horse that's in the top 3 in terms of that score on our behalf. Our race shape for the 4th race shows 2 horses want to be up front. Everybody else wants to be middle back. So early pace, if that is indeed the way, Charles, it could favor the 2 horse Mikasa along with the 4, A Ring Thing. The 1 horse Downtown Tabby. Those 3 should be pretty much up on the lead because they're about a length and a half ahead of everybody else in here. Late speed looks like they're pretty competitive, but nothing but bumps. About a 10-point lead. So that one, 2 lengths clear of everybody else, but looks like he'll be at least 2 lengths back at the start. So a little bit quicker start for the 3 is going to be the difference for that one. And then finally, your total pace, the 2 horse, Mikasa, along with what looks like the 2, 3, 4, and 5, Charles. Those are the horses, if you put them in exacta trifecta, based upon total pace, could make an exacta trifecta box pay off. What you got?
Well, I mean, I like the 3. I think it's going to set up for this horse. You got plenty of speed up there. This horse won last time out, drops in class. So it was well bet last time. Second start after a layoff. Jose Ortiz is aboard. I mean, there's a lot of pluses with this horse, and especially how it's setting up for this race. The 4 ran second last time, has speed to actually win this race, and was well bet. I mean, cuts back in distance also today. The 6 is my 3rd choice here. Won last time out. This one definitely will be closing. This horse was well bet last time. And so it puts him in the mix. Now the 7, first you got to toss out that last race. When you do, this horse is dropping in class. You got a trainer at 35% when he drops him down 2 levels or more. Plus that trainer also gets 28% when he takes him from a sprint to a route, which that's another one of my angles I really do like also, is going from a sprint to a route. So, I mean, it makes a really tough race overall, but I mean, I'm leaning towards the 3 a little bit.
It's scary in race number 2 says the 3 horse Shankar, the other Safi horse at 15-1, a joke of a price in race number 2. Actually going even higher right now. It's like 13-1. So, and that's up from a morning line of 9-2. So keep an eye on that, folks. That could be a nice payday there. It looks like the 8 horse is Cable Boss taking a lot of money in race number 2. Something going on there, Charles. Maybe mess up our pick 4s. Maybe not. Maybe make them nice and fat if we can hit the winner. In race number 4, for me, my top choice is the 3 horse. Nothing but pumps. 1, last time out. Going to drop in class. Kind of weird. Must have been a condition thing that it fit into. So the resume says the second start off for layoff should look a lot like the first one. Number 4, A Ring Thing. That's the second choice for me. Top last race speed figure. 3 points clear of everybody else. That's the minimum that you're looking for, according to Andrew Beyer. This one's been off since November 11th, but didn't really take time off. Went right back to the practice track. Been practicing since. Horse should remain fit. Number 2, Mikasa. Left arrow horse, meaning one that typically likes to close, as you see over here. But its early speed should put him right on the lead today. And then has that top total pace of 6 points, better than everybody else. And finally, the 1 horse Downtown Tabby could be on the pace too, and does have a strong C-Zone, and seen that combination win too many times to pass it up. Trifecta 1, 2, 3, 4 with the 3, 4 with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Charles, I don't have the 6 or 7, and you do in your pick, so maybe that's where you want to go. All right, so we got about 5 minutes to race number 5. So let's go ahead and knock that one out. Charles, the midpoint of the card, what are they running for?
Well, they're running 5 furlongs. They were supposed to be turf, but it's now on that Tapeta.
Your favorite
and
surface.
We got a maiden race here. Purse is $89,000. This is for fillies 3-year-olds.
Yeah, we don't really have the data for 5 furlongs on the all-weather, but we do have the 5.5 first stuff. So faster, does better. Inside, it does a little better than outside. So I'd imagine that 5 furlongs are going to see some of the same biases emerge. So inside speed, Charles, bunch of first-time starters in here. So we don't really have much in the way of simulation odds or par plus. And the same holds true over here. You see a lot of horses haven't really done much. You do, of the first-time starters, see that the 11, 13, and 6 should be the fastest of these. And then if you look at the late speed, Turf Rocket's in there, but there's that 13 again. It's a good to be Jose, yeah, indeed. Of all of the horses that have raced, it's good to be Jose from a total pace about 2 1/5 lengths better than everybody else. Charles, I don't have the 13 in my picks, nor do you. We both went other ways. Tell us why you picked these babies.
Well, to be honest with you, I wish I could hit the all button, period. Yeah, this is, I think you just got to pick a horse here and bet it just to win and be done with it, because it's going to be tough to hit anything else. 5, I'm leaning towards the 5 here. This horse is very well bred, although more than 3/4 of this group is very well bred. Clement gets 21% with first-time starters, so that's good. It's got a nice, solid workout pattern. Luis Saez is aboard, so you got tons of positives for this horse. Then the 6 is my second choice. Another one that's very well bred, but this one ran even last time out. Well bet too, so it's got a little experience, so this might make this horse very dangerous. The 8 is my third choice. Another one that's bred for this. Solid workout tab. Casey gets 12% with first-time starters. And then the 12 is my final pick, but trust me, there's many others right behind it. This one is actually bred for turf. And with it being taken off the turf, it's very interesting to see this trainer leave this horse in. And you got a hot jockey trainer combo in the last 14 days. And look at that workout pattern too. Pretty nice and solid.
So Turf Rocket, my top choice, just needs to repeat its debut. Top last race speed figure by 11, and that's your winner. Beanpot, first timer for Christophe Clement. He's winning at 21%, but he's been just smoking down there so far at Gulfstream Park, winning almost 1 out of every 3. And so far, that horse has got some decent works, and the breeding is there as well. The 2 horse, Pretty Liam, you got Todd Pletcher, wins at a high rate with first timers. You got Irad, wins at a high rate no matter what he's riding on there. It's another horse with solid breeding and good works. And then finally, I'm going to go with the 11 horse, Hidden Vod. Does show a lot of late speed in its early speed, in its debut. So it's faded. And then since then, that's some really fast workouts, particularly one at Palm Meadows that was on the turf, I think 4 furlongs and 46. That's smoking. And he did that on New Year's Eve. So you know he wanted that night off. As you mentioned, Charles, way too many horses in this field to pick from. I had the 8 and 13 right behind that group right there. So I think any one of those horses can probably pop up. And
well, that's why my pick 5, I'm starting off with 7 horses. And honestly, I really like to hit the all. I got a single, then my top 3 in the 3rd leg, my top 2 in the 4th, and my top 2 in the 5th and final leg.
Yeah, I just bailed out of that one altogether. All right. Race number 2, they are off and running. The 2 horse and the 7 horse are competing for the lead right now. Looks like the 7 has got its nose in front of the 2. So the 2, I think, if we recall in our pace settings, the 7 horse did make its way around to the 2 is keeping his nose to his tail, so he can't clear that easily. But he finally has made his way to the front. 2 horses actually move now to the outside of the 7 to give himself a nice running lane down the stretch. They're about a length ahead of a quartet of horses that includes the 4, the 3, the 9, and the 6. And then in the back of the field is that 8 horse, the one that took on a little bit of money, and then apparently everybody bailed out. The 2 horses, your favorite right now at 7-5. The 7 continues to set the tone. Ribbons and Metal. We gave it an 80% chance to have the lead, Charles, and 100% it was on the lead at the quarter-mile marker. The 2 horse is now making up a little bit of move. No one's really made their move yet, Charles. It's to come around the turn after running an opening half in 47 and 7. The 7 horse still running pretty easily. The 2 horse, the jockey, is asking for him to go. But so far, no response at all. No reply at all. Is he any listening? No. The horse that's moving the best is that Joseph Safi horse that Scary Creations talked about. He ended up getting bet down to 9-1. Let's see if he can find his way around to the winner's circle. Right now, the 2 and the 3, the 6 is moving pretty aggressively. 2 horses moving up. I think the 6 horse, Charles, is probably going to be your winner. And unless the 2-horse can find some extra juice here at
Whoa,
the end of the race.
Well, never mind.
No, he kind of it went 6-2, 3-7, 6-2, and of course it's always the very next horse for me. So that absolutely drives me bananas. I don't. Why do you think that is, Charles?
I don't know. I think it's just. I mean, that's just the way it is when you're betting. It's just either if you drop somebody, and that's the one that wins, or if you leave somebody out, that's the one that wins.
Yeah, and it's funny to me how that works like that all the time. It's always I mean, it would be one thing if it wasn't in the picks, but to be the very next one.
That's absolutely a good way to start my pick 4, though.
Yeah, you got a $12 horse at least on top, and it beat a 7. It beat a 3-2, and then a 2-1. So it was the third choice, but still, you had a very heavy favorite in there with that 8 horse that didn't even show up, right?
Yeah.
No. All right, well, that's race number 2. Had the trifecta, but didn't make the right bet. I hate horse racing. So next up is race number 6, another race, Charles, with a bunch of horses that are making, I think most of them, their second starts, maybe a few more, of a couple more.
Some are making third starts, but yeah, they're this is another very good race here. This is 7 furlongs, optional claimer of 25,000, non-winners of 1. Purse is 91,000. This is for 3-year-olds which have never won a race other than maiden, claiming starter, or restricted, or which have never won 2 races or a claiming price of 75,000.
We have a couple that's 7 furlongs today, so keep an eye on race number 6. Early speed does well 37% of the time. Run from the quarter-mile marker right into the winner's circle. Nobody passes you. The rail is fair, so Gunsong should get a fair shake. 2 and 3 get a little bit of a small bonus. 4 through 7 underperform, and 8 and out. Unfortunately, there aren't any horses that would take advantage of that huge bonus. So again, not enough experience from most of these horses to do any of our statistics. We do have a little bit of a look at the race shape. You do see the 2 horse in here. Leslie Rose is the one that can be on the lead, or it can play pilot. Everybody else so far has shown that they want to pressure or close. So get to the front. You probably got a good shot here too, Charles, today. Emily's Wish, Gunsong, Happy Together. I mean, all of them except Sing a Little Song. They're a misstep, a bump, something away from being on the lead. So a little bit of late legs could come in useful. Leslie Rose should be in there with a little bit of late speed. Charles and Leslie Rose also scoring out as a 5-point top total pace horse, about 1 length clear of the 4 horse, who's about 1 length clear of the 3 horse, about a half a length, and then a big jump back to the 6 and the 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5 in this race, Charles, with one of which is a heavy early time favorite.
Yeah, and they spent a lot of money on this too, and this too looks like it's every bit of it, what they spent. This horse won last time out. This horse has speed to win, go wire to wire, or sit second or third. Todd gets 20% when he rests them up 46 plus days. Todd and Irad combo. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's a tough one to beat. Then the 1 is my second choice. Ran third last time. Adds blinkers. Tactical speed. Johnny V is aboard. The 4 won last time. Todd gets 24% with first time Lasix. This horse also has some tactical speed. I just don't know it has the enough oomph to catch the 2. And then that 5, this horse will be definitely closing at the end. I just don't think there's enough real estate for this horse. It did win last time out. Trainer got 11%, 46 plus days. But I'm saying, you know what? Try to beat the 2. If anybody could, I mean, it could be the 1 or the 4.
Do you have a best bet today, Charles?
Do I have a best bet today? I think we just finished talking about that horse.
the 2 horse?
Yeah, I would if I had to. That one, or let me see. In the 4, in the 4th.
I mean, I won the 2 shot. I'm not gonna.
In the 4th.
And it's going to be 1 to 5 or something like that, right?
I like the 3 in the 4th race.
I think you should have added another 6 there, Melvin, to your pick 4. I mean, just 6.
Yeah, not
right?
Not my number.
Not Charles. Yeah, he's why Charles always has smoke coming out of his ears over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How does he dare to take my number? But I do like the 3 in the 4th race.
The race 4, the 3-horse there for you, Arcom. I'm going to try to beat that 2-horse with Happy Together. That horse ran 7 furlongs in its debut, which is kind of a weird debut distance, I would say. How many
It
horses
is
do you
actually.
see? Yeah.
And
he won with ease.
As a trainer, that's probably one of the toughest distance to win. First time out is 7 and a mile.
Yeah, I mean, he came out and he won, and he did so with ease, and he came from off the pace. A lot of times you don't see horses do that in their debut. He's got a bunch of workout sense. I think if anybody beats the 2, it will be Happy Together. Leslie's Rose, that 1-2 shot, big time favorite, big time win in its debut at Aqueduct. I think by almost 9 lengths or something like that. Bunch of good workouts in the middle. But 1-2, I'm not going to put it on top. Probably wins by 19 again today, but let's see if we can beat it. The 3-horse Lincoln Park. I used to live there in Chicago, moved over to Logan Square now. A little bit more family friendly than Lincoln Park. A lot less traffic. At least it used to be. Not so much anymore.
And the band was pretty good.
Yeah, poor guy, Charles. Guy lost his mind. Anyway, God rest his soul. Consistent in the first 2 races for Lincoln Park. Could be better in the second start after a layoff. Has a nice trio of workouts since that last race. And then finally, Sing a Little Song. This one made a huge closing move to win its debut. Got off to like a really funky start. If she can move closer to the front when the gates open today, that late pace could be dangerous for some of these more short-priced horses. I mean, the 2 probably wins, Charles, but I'm going to do a pick 4 with the 2-4, the 1-6-8, the 1-2-8, and the 1-5-7-9. So that means, folks, just single the 3, throw out the rest, and you'll get the winning pick 4 based upon what we saw in race number 2. Yes, 666 Charles. All right. Race number 7, Charles, as we close our way through the end of this card today and the end of our North American racing, mile and 16th on the all-weather.
Yeah, all-weather, mile 16th. Claiming price is $16,000. Non-winners of 2 lifetime. This is for 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races, and the purse is $26,000.
26 G's is not bad. Looking at a mile and a 16th on the all-weather. Stalkers, 1 out of 8, goes wire to wire. The inside 3 are penalized, not the place to be. 4 through 7, that's the best place to be. 8 and outs, pretty close to fair, still a little bit under par, Charles. So a little bit of tactical speed, probably helpful in race number 7, preferably on the outside. And it really looks like this is a pretty evenly matched start for most.
Yeah, we got the outside, of course, 9. 37% chance of getting the lead at the quarter pole. Probably so, and I think even the 7 might have a shot at that. So look out for the 7 pushing that horse around. But there's still plenty of other speed in here. I just don't know if they have the super speed to get out of the gate like these other 2 do. But when it comes to simulation odds, we have the 4 at just under 3-1. We have 6-1 morning line. The 5 at just under 4-1. We have 20-1 morning line. Now that's an overlay.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and all of these horses, except for the 3, it looks like, the 7 and the 8, good chance to break par. And again, par for this level is a speed figure of 82. Bunch of them with that opportunity. It looks like the 1, the 2, and the 4, those 3 have the best chance to get a race that really mirrors their most successful outings. And just looking at the data here, you have a couple horses, the 2 and the 4, perhaps even the 1 horse with that C zone, but also have a pretty good shot of being par plus scores and then pretty fair odds in there to boot. So maybe the 2-4 might be a good place to put on your tickets there, although neither one of us has the 2. Probably regretful for that too as well. In race number 7, balanced race perfectly. 4 on the front, 2 in the middle, 4 in the back. So this race is really going to come down to probably positioning. It's Little Steven, Tis the Coast, and Racket. Those 3 should be up front, and those are your front runners, right? Maybe the 9, Carlin Clan, although our simulation said that one should be on the front. I think it could struggle because every single horse with speeds to its inside might make it a little bit more difficult to get to the front. Late speed, if everybody goes out too fast, and a lot of them look like they want to go pretty quick. Again, pretty competitive across the board, except for Break the Ice in here, Charles. All of them within about a length of each other. So just looking at those 2 pieces, it looks like this is going to be a hugely competitive race. And if you look at it, Charles, all but the 3-horse in there within a length of one another from a total poise perspective. This might be another one of those races where the all button could be your friend.
Yeah, this is a very tough race. I like the 6, though. This horse ran even last time. Third start after a layoff. Well bet last time. This horse drops in class. IRAD's aboard. And you can reach in your wallet. This might be a good horse to claim. I think there's a lot more potential for this horse later on. The 4-horse is my second choice here. Ran third last time. Second start after a layoff. Trainer gets 11% with that angle. This one has a little bit of that tactical speed to sit really close, try to make one run. The 8-horse is my third choice here. This horse ran second last time. This one definitely has more of the closing style. Jose Ortiz is aboard, so that should make this horse rock and roll a little bit. And then finally, the 9-horse is my final choice here. This one most likely to be your leader. Drops in class. Trainer gets 10% with 90-plus days rest. This horse was well bet, and if you like to own a speed horse, this would be the one to claim. I think this one could do a lot of damage, especially with the breeding. You could do turf and dirt and all weather with this horse.
And you're going to do an exacta box. You hit an exacta box yesterday.
Yeah,
so
4 and
you
6.
can do the same today.
2. Yeah.
I have the 8-horse Media Sensation. We haven't quite got our viral moment yet. Hopefully one day we do. This one did show some early pace improvement last time out. That came together to the top last race speed figure. Kingfish Stevens, interesting name, drops in class. 2 really good workouts between races and making its third start after a layoff. So this one should be definitely in race shape. Tis the Coast, the 1-horse, Mr. Charles John Ortiz, who's a good friend of the show when we used to do the horse center there. 44% this guy wins when dropping his horse multiple classes. And it's not like he did it like in 3 races or something like that. 27 times so far. So that's a big number, about 13% of the time, 13 out of 27 winning on that angle. And last time out, this horse held its speed a lot longer than it did in its prior start. And then finally, No Regard. I expect more in the second start after a layoff. Does have a maintenance workout between races. And honestly, it was a real tough call between No Regard and the 2-horse for me for that 4th spot. They both made it in the back end of my trifecta. 1, 6, 8 over the 6, 8 over the 1, the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 8. Charles, 2 races to go. That means race number 8 is next on our docket. Beginning leg of the late double. Helps if I press 8 and not 9. Charles, I mentioned they'd have a couple 7 furlong races. Here's another.
Here's another's right. 7 furlongs, optional claimer of 16,000 purse 31,000 for 4-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of 10,000 or less since January the 11th of 22, or a claiming price of 16,000. So there's a couple of options. That's how they could get into this race.
All right, my allergies are going bananas, making my eyes water like crazy. Or I'm crying over that 6-horse winning my 3rd pick and not putting in my pick 4. At 7 furlongs, again, early speed. A bunch go wire to wire, nearly 4 out of 10. The inside 3 do tend to perform very well, although 8 and out does the best. And in race number 8, Charles, well, we only have 7 horses with a scratch, so the 8's not going to benefit from that.
Yeah.
The speed is on the inside. So
100% on the inside. The 1 and the 2 both are right around 39% each. It's going to be tough. Whoever breaks the gate best, I think that's going to be it. I personally think it's going to be the 1, but I also want to say look out for the 7 a little bit. On the outside, that horse does have some speed, so watch out for that horse. When it comes to simulation odds, the 2 is just slightly under 2 to 1. We have 4.5 to 1 morning line on that horse, and that's it. That's all we got.
Yeah, and except for the 6-horse Impacto, everybody's scoring with an opportunity to get above par. So this is another race where you put in your best effort, you got a good shot to win, except for maybe Charles's top pick. We'll find out why he gets that score there. But he does also score out as the horse that's going to get the best C-zone score. So maybe that's what Charles identified. The pace might really set up nicely for Impacto at a price. Let's take a look at the race shape in race number 8. We do see the 6 and 8 want to close. Everybody else wants to be up front. 6 and 8 aren't really closers necessarily. They're PC type, so they can close or they can move forward if they have to. Everybody else wants to be forwardly placed. It really should favor these 3 horses because they have a tactical advantage. They're not locked into needing the lead, perhaps like the 1, 3, or 4, or 7 are. Of that group, you want to be the speed of the speed, and really none of them are. I would imagine the 2 might let these horses go out there and just sit right off of them unless the pace is too slow. Late speed, you do find that the 2 horse has the most late speed as well. It could be very difficult to catch what you can't pass, Charles. And then you have the 2 horse, about 6 points, about 1 length better than everybody else. Pretty tight knit between who's up for second place there. Impacto way behind. Charles, I'm curious how that one made its way to the top of you.
Well, I mean, pull him up on the chart here, and I'll show you why I like this horse. This horse is pretty versatile, and I think they're teaching this horse to rate a little bit better and close. Look at how much speed that horse had in the early part of his career. And then you look at his last time out running. I think they try to show this horse to make him have a little patience, make him close, try to see if he could save it. And look at his speed ratings compared to the last couple before that. It really improved him a lot. And I think now in this race, the way they're teaching him, it's going to benefit him in this race because there's tons of speed in the air. So he doesn't need to go out there and go head to head. He just needs to be patient and stay close. And he does have that speed to stay close.
Well, he does. He shows some pretty good aggressive mid moves, though, at like low, like I forget the name of this track, but I think it's a Canadian track.
Yeah, it's I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I can't remember. It'll come to me when we press end show. But anyway, go ahead.
But that's why I like that horse. And it drops in class on top of all that. Excuse me. And then the 8 is my second choice. This one has tactical speed, ran second last time out, second start after a layoff. Trainer gets 18% with that angle. Tough horse. The 7 is my third choice. This one does have some speed. Watch out. One last time, Trainer gets 33% drop after a win. I mean, that's a big, big angle. The 1, probably the speed of the race, drops in class, well bet, fits with this group. But like I said, the way that looks like they're trying to teach that 6 to control his speed a little bit better, I'm going to go with that angle a little bit, and I'm going to do an exacta box with the 6 and 8. And then I'm going to do a daily double, my 6 and 8 to the last race to the 4.
I'm going to start with the 8 horse. I wanted to put the 2 on top, but Proverb just loves himself some Gulfstream Park. 5 times out, 4 wins in the 3rd. And then if you stick him at the distance, he loves it even more. 3 times at 7 furlongs. The quirky, is it a sprint? Is it a route? It's a sprout, but won all 3 of them. And this horse very likely to get better. The second start after layoff with a keep the saw sharp workout in the middle. Like a salt shaker, I really wanted to put that one up front with the top total pace edge is 6 points over everybody else. Has the best early speed, has the best late speed, has a couple of maintenance workouts in between races, and one of them was really fast. It should be sharp today, Charles. Concrete Glory, the 1 horse, tons and tons and tons of early speed, and the only horse in the race with a hundo on its resume for a speed figure within the last 10 races. And then finally, the 7 horse one that you feel like can compete early on as well. Did run the top last race speed figure. Did qualify for Andrew Byers, 3 points clear of the next closest horse. And this one at times can make some really powerful middle moves that win races coming out of the turn. If he does that today and builds on that top last race speed figure, look out for, why do I have the 4 in there? It's supposed to be the 7. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes, Charles, but the 4 was my next pick. So let me just go ahead and correct that. That's what my notes are telling me. So I trust my notes over my typing all day, every day. I have a double. That 8 horse undefeated at the distance. Going to make it a good 4 for 4 today. And then the 1, 5, 7, and 9 because I have $4 to spend. That was why I picked those 4 horses at the end. A little bit of foreshadowing of the last race, Charles, of the week for you and me. This one was supposed to be a mile and an 1/8 on the turf, but they're not going to do that today.
No, we're going to go on our lovely Topeka course at a mile and an 1/8. This is a straight maiden for purse of $89,000. This is for course maidens, 4-year-olds and upward.
We don't have any mile and an eighth Tapeta statistics, Charles. It doesn't say. It says they're going to run at a mile and an eighth too. The mile and a 16th, they ran one. We've talked about that a couple of times today. A mile and a 16th. It favors stalkers. There's a little bit of an inside penalty on that, but it's going to be a different race because it's a little bit longer. I would imagine, like most of those Tapeta races, you don't want to be on the front, particularly when it's kind of sloppy. Maybe might be a little bit of a tiring surface, Charles. But any case, if it's a fast surface and you get to the front and you win because you don't like the backsplash, looks like Fly Right's the one that might be right.
Yeah, the 5, 42%, 43%, to get the lead at the quarter pole. I think that's your leader at the quarter pole, probably most likely throughout the race until the turn for home. And it might be able to fight off a lot of horses maybe because it might have a decent lead, and that's what I'm predicting. When it comes to simulation odds, the 5, look, it's just slightly over 2-1. We got 3.5 to 1 morning line. The 9 at 2 to 1, we have 8 to 1 morning line. And look at the 10, we have 9 to 1 and 12 to 1 morning line on that.
And a trio of them: the 5, the 7, and the 9. So all the odd horses except for the 1 have the strong par numbers. So maybe just throw the 1 in there to make it an even or an odd. Just put all the odd horses. I mean, sometimes that might be a winning strategy. Fly Right, Charles. I mean, it has got checking off all the right boxes. Going to likely be your pace setter. The C-Zone says very comfortable up there on the lead and the strongest chance to be a par plus horse. And it looks like to me it is the second choice according to our simulated odds. So from a just math standpoint, the 5 horse looks like one well worth backing. Our race shape tells us the 5 and 7 want to be up in the front. The 10 wants to pressure. Everybody else middle back are closers. So get up front. Might work out today, Charles, on the Tapeta because everybody wants to close. The 5 horse, Fly Right, we predicted to be on the lead.
The 1 is scratched, by the way.
Oh, is it scratched now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that must have been a late scratch because it wasn't scratched when I went ahead and
I mean, double check for you real quick. Oh no, the 1 isn't.
All right. So the 1's not scratched.
Sorry, I was the 2 and 3. You had it right. I'm sorry.
Every once in a while, I got to get something right? Fly Right anyway, going to be the quickest one out of the gate, about a length clear of everybody else, and really the ones on the inside of it don't have a whole lot of speed, so shouldn't really have to work that hard to get to the front. Late speed, Mohican, the 9 horse, will be rolling at the end, about a length and a half better than everybody else, but going to be, minus the front runner, about a length and a half off everybody else. Your top total pace horses are Fly Right, Mohican, and Mainline Cypher. Those 3 are about 6 points clear of everybody else, so those 3 should hit the finish line somewhere 1, 2, 3 according to top total pace, and then about a second before the next group of horses hit the finish line. Charles, how did you rank the last race?
This is one of those races that was very, very tough. I'm leaning towards the 4 here. The 4 ran even last time. Walsh gets 14%, 46 plus days of rest. This horse got tactical speed, so I think this one is going to be sitting in the best spot to pounce. This horse is bred for this, so look out. The 5 is going to be your leader. Is the horse going to last that long? I don't know, but I think it's going to have a pretty decent lead, so it might be tough to catch, especially if you toss out that last race that horse ever ran. It puts him right in the thick of things. This horse drops in class. The 9 is my 3rd choice. Ran 3rd last time. The Dam had 4 winners from 8 starters. And Walsh gets 14% with second time they run. And this is where I had a little bit of a problem between the 7 and the 1. But I thought the 1 was scratched for some reason. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I chose the 7.
And then you saw the 7 was my first pick. So I made it really easy for me.
Is that what it was?
Yes. I mean, it could be nothing else.
Today I'm going to give you that one maybe. No, but I thought it was a really tough race.
An admission.
Yeah. The 7 fits just like the 1 fits in this race. But I'm going to go in the exacta box with the 4-5, trying to use a closer or at least a pace horse to go with my front runner.
So I will begin with the 7 horse, Tis Eternal. We talked a little bit about horses coming off a little bit of a rest and then having room to improve by a point or 2 on their speed figure per month off. This is our good friend Chris Parmalou's favorite angle, tied for the top last race speed figure, finished 2nd. Been off for almost a year, so all those workouts, comes back, a little bit of improvement expected, could be enough to get the job done. Mohican, the 9-horse. This one is going to make its second race after its debut, and any improvement or typical improvement off of the debut should be enough. And this one has some really good workouts in between races. Sergeant Pepper, the Lonely Hearts Club right there, been off since May, and a lot of these horses are coming back after some time off, so it'd be really kind of a question to see how they all perform. Always well bet in each one of its 4 starts so far, Charles. And again, you got that dynamic duo of Irad Ortiz and Todd Pletcher. I think they're winning at a healthy clip, something like 31% together. That's good enough. And then finally, the 5-horse Fly Right was a tough call for me over the 4-horse, your top pick. But this one should be up on the lead, Charles. Been off since July. A couple of times that this horse put together first-time start, so its debut. And another time where it had a first start after a little bit of time in the barn. Both of those races went very well. And if you rewind through the past performances, the class is absolutely there. I ran out of money, so I have no bets. But if I do hit the 8-horse in the prior race, I'll hope for any one of those 3 or 4 to win for my double. And I also have that pick 4 at the end. That wraps up our week of picks today, Charles. Tomorrow again, Thomas and I will be back for Flemington down in Australia. Make sure you hit the subscribe button while you're here on YouTube. Follow us on all of our social sites. Sean, Swiss Army Sean, does a fantastic job of putting highly engaging, entertaining information up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever else is out there. I can't think of them all off the top of my head. But you see it scrolling off down there at on the banner below. Horse Race, the number 2 day. Horse Race today. And, of course, again, don't forget today, the free track of the day at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Sunland Park. There is a link in the description down below. Always some wild races over there, Charles, at Sunland Park.
Yes.
Finally, I want to say thank you to Yamaka Rivera. Thank you, Yamaka. Rick Hepner, Fiona Tierney, Melvin Torres, Tiana Hezekiah Jose. I hope I got that right. Kenny Green, Beverly Taylor, and Jeff Bresky for the thumbs up on Facebook. If, like them, you like what you saw today, a couple things you can do. Again, hit the subscribe button. You can also give us a thumbs up on Facebook or on YouTube. Helps us with their algorithms. If you're watching on Twitter, kindly retweet. Or if you would be so kind, go to our YouTube, hit the share button, copy that link, and share it with your friends that like horse racing. Or if they don't, maybe they will start like horse racing. We'll give them the bug. I mean, everybody got the degenerate started at some point, right, Charles? Who was your sponsor?
My grandmother.
Your grandmother. All right, yeah. So my sponsor was Joe Christopek. He claims he doesn't remember. The guy who does the horse racing analysis at Churchill Downs and Fairgrounds. We both went to college together, and one afternoon he's like, hey, you want to go to Sportsman's Park? And that was the beginning of the end for me, Charles.
And, of course, right. I'm all my friends degenerate.
Yeah, how did your basketball pick do yesterday?
I went 1-1. So I'm now 5-2. So right. Yeah, 6-2. Excuse me, 6-2. I'm 6-2. I got one.
What are we doing today to go 7-2?
So I'm taking Stephen. Wait. What do they call? Oh,
Stephen of Austin.
Stephen of F. Austin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Taking them. Just give the points. I think it should be right around 6. No problem.
So Stephen F. Austin, take the point, give the points. It's around 6. No problem for 6-2 Charles on his basketball picks here. All right. Let's see how close are we to race number 3.
No, they're in the gate.
All right. So let's just talk about what happens in race number 3.
Horses backing out, but okay.
And then we'll call it a day.
Having a hard time.
So your 7-horse in here, Charles, in race number 3. Don't answer. It is 6-5. But according to our simulated odds, you could take that one all the way down to about 1-5 and still get fair value. So a little bit of a value still in Don't Answer. Next on the board is the 4-horse at 7-2, Frankie Blue Eyes. Yeah, we have that one really not having 40-1 odds. So it's 7-2. You're not getting fair odds there. The 2-horse at 4-1, Wow, Whiskey and Wine, the one that everybody seems to like. All the drinkers in the house.
Yeah.
Coming out on that one. Let's see who's the top total pace horse in race number 3. See if we can get any value in there. It looks like the 7-horse. Yeah, he's pretty clear of everybody else. 9 points clear. So it looks like even at 6-5, the 7-horse is the one that offers the most value relative to our simulated odds.
My value for my pick 4. I'm looking for the 5. I'm really wanting the 5 to come in.
Yeah, 10-1 right now. He is the second longest shot on the board, and if the 6 takes any money, well, no, actually the 3 horse is the longest shot on the board at 25-1. I don't know who's. It must be something funky going on because the camera's
because they keep on circling.
Well, not only that, but the camera's not on the gates, right? So whenever a horse is like acting funny, you notice they always take the camera.
There goes the 5.
Yeah, they always take the camera away from the gate because if the horse acts up and hurts somebody, they don't want it on film, right?
Yeah.
So the 6 horse, he says, all right, and those other guys were reluctant. Let me be a little bit reluctant, but I'll be a good horse. I'll go right on in. I think we're waiting on the 7 horse, the favorite, who just walks right in confidently, Charles. He's like, all right, this race is over before it began. Still 6-5. Everybody's in, and they're off. And the 2 horse, the Whiskey and Wine, off to a little bit of a sluggish break. The 5 horse, they kind of, was it the 6 horse? I think it was the 5 horse, got off to a little bit of a sluggish break too. And they rushed that one up a little bit, but not one of those that got so far off that the rush up basically kills its chances. You have the 1 on the 5 on the lead with the 6 to the outside. That 7-5 favorite, trying to save a little bit of ground on the rail. Jockey's asking for him to get going, and he's already into that horse. I think that might be tough. He's really on that 7. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go. He's going 4 wide. I mean, I don't know. You think he's going to have it, Charles? I think that 6 horse is looking pretty good right about now. 5 horse up on that lead there for you, Charles. That 7 horse, I guess there's a reason why the jockey asked him to go, huh?
Yeah, come on then.
Yeah, it's gonna go. It's gonna go 7-6-5 is how it's gonna go, Charles.
Favorite.
7-6-5-3. 7-6-5 and 3. Well, should have probably singled the 7 in this race and went 1 more deep in the previous race, right?
Yeah, well, I tried with the long shot there, but oh well.
Did you have the 7 in your picks or no?
Yeah, I had the 7. Yes.
Well, you're still alive. I mean, that's all
alive,
you need.
but now I got a single. I got a single the next race. So,
you know, in college basketball during the tournament, what do they say?
What? Just you have to keep winning. What?
It says survive and advance.
That's right. Just survive.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, that wraps it up for today, folks. No matter what it is you're doing on the rest of this Thursday, until we get together again, Charles and I, Thomas and I, for Foreign Friday. Charles, I forgot to ask you. Well, you did. You gave your basketball pick. No matter what you're doing for the rest of the day, we certainly hope you have God's grace, God's favor, and every single thing that you do ends up in
the winner circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to spending the next time together. Have a great, great weekend.
See ya.